Good morning and welcome to the 25th Annual State of the City. I'm Colin Diaz, President and CEO of the Tempe Chamber. I can't believe it's December already. I don't know about any of you all here, but for me it felt like we were at this event maybe 2 months ago. And I'm just happy to be back, pleased to be joined by you all and the mayor. It's an honor to be here at the Omni Tempe Hotel at ASU. This partnership's extremely important to us, and it allows us to continue to build on the promise and commitment we have to make Tempe a great place to live and to do business. For over a century, Tempe Chamber has been dedicated to the Tempe's quality of life for the community as a whole, but also for our business community. This chamber serves as a voice of business, a catalyst of economic growth, and a champion for strong community. At this time, Tempe City Council works hard to find creative solutions to the issues that are important to all of us. The results don't only impact Tempe, oftentimes we are looked at as thought leaders across the entire nation. What makes Tempe strong? Let's hear some of the answers from your city council.
Tempe's founding was based on entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial ideas. Charles Trumbull Hayden was the original Tempe entrepreneur. There is a great mix of ideas and innovative approaches and support by our stakeholders. We honor our heritage by striving for greatness in everything we do. We shoot big, we go for big ideas, and we support big ideas in Tempe. People are intentional about coming to Tempe, whether it's to live here, create a life here, or to start their business here. People want to be in Tempe, and that's one of our strengths.
What I believe that makes Tempe such a great city and community is the diversity in Tempe, and that we will invest in our youth. We invest in pre-K all the way up to our seniors. We make sure that everyone is taken care of and everyone has a place in our city. And that's what I love and will always be a part of the city of Tempe for.
Tempe's work to solve national issues is noticed around the country. We are sought-after partners on national panels and organizations to offer our expertise on truly challenging subjects, ranging from homelessness and affordable housing to using wastewater data to fight the pandemic. This acknowledgement gives us better access to grants, experts, and information we can use to improve our community. When we lead, it helps everyone here in Tempe and across the nation.
Our special events make the city of Tempe the most vibrant, exciting city in the state of Arizona, and I would argue one of the best in the country. We have spring training and a lot of different sports teams come and play at the Angel Stadium. We have the Innings Fest, which is coming out really soon. I'm super excited about that. We've got the Tempe Rock and Roll Marathon. Tempe has something for everyone. It just doesn't end in Tempe. It only begins here.
We don't just respond to emergencies in Tempe, we find ways to help people be healthy after the fire truck is gone or before it's even needed. We were ahead of the pack when it came to bringing in nonprofits, treatment centers, public safety, and government together to fight opioid addiction. We started a regional task force to continue to lead with the innovation of Narcan and programs that help victims get counseling treatment while they are still recovering from overdose. We've saved more than 300 lives so far, and that's what makes Tempe strong.
Tempe's strength is in its giant heart. Our community doesn't just talk about equity and diversity. We stand up for everyone and make room for all voices, even those that don't often speak up. Our anti-discrimination ordinance continues to protect people. No matter your hairstyle, your religion, your color, your gender, who you love, source of money used to pay rent, we have your back. Tempe isn't the biggest city in Arizona. In fact, it barely makes up the top 10, but we play a bigger part than we are. We have some of the most educated residents in the state. We have scientists working to explore Jupiter's moons. We have a lake in the middle of a dry riverbed, and our city hall is an inverted pyramid. Think we can't do something? Watch us.
I always look forward to that video. Although I have to admit the Councilmember Garland and Navarro's NASCAR skit last year was one that was pretty amazing. This was a great video as well. We've got a very creative and innovative group on council, and I appreciate their support and continued work with us. Corey Woods was elected mayor of the city of Tempe in March of 2020. He served as council member for the city from July of 2008 to July of 2016. He has brought national attention to Tempe for his innovative affordable housing strategies and serves in leadership roles on housing committees for both the U.S. Conference of Mayors as well as the National League of Cities. And as if there wasn't another thing to add, yesterday was his birthday. And again, like the national anthem, I won't be singing happy birthday to you, but you all can to him on the way out. Please help me welcome our mayor, Tempe, Corey Woods.
Strength. It's something you work for. Every day, we take actions that make our city stronger, fiscally, physically, and socially. We talk. We try new ideas. We try again. To find the best solutions, everyone needs a seat at the table. There is value in coming together for respectful dialogue. Breaking bread, it's a sign of respect. When you share a meal with someone, you commit to spending time with them. You are agreeing to listen, to have an exchange of ideas, and give them your attention. You are agreeing to get to know them a little better. It's one reason I love food. Food brings people together. Together, we move forward with an eye toward our future. Together, we take the actions that make our city so successful, so beautiful, and so undeniably Tempe. Well, that's a good way to get the morning started. Well, thank you so much, Colin. I really appreciate the work the Tempe Chamber does to support our business community. So today marks the 4th time I've had the privilege to speaking with you about the state of our city. It really is an honor because I know you all have businesses to run, teams to lead, clients to serve, families to raise, and of course, lives to live. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here this morning. So I took office back in July of 2020 in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot of you remember I got sworn in by Zoom at my kitchen table while I was sick with COVID myself. I guess our city and me too have also come a long way. But I'm especially proud of how we as a community handled an unprecedented public health emergency, and even more importantly, how we've recovered. When we compare revenues from 2019 to 2023, we have exceeded pre-pandemic successes in nearly every category: restaurants, retail sales, construction, and more. That success is due to your efforts, and for that, I say thank you. I have been your mayor for more than 1,250 days. I have never and never will take this job or your support for granted. Whether we agree or disagree on an issue, no matter your politics or your point of view, I am grateful for you and for what you bring to our city. You are appreciated and welcome right here. But when I say welcome, I don't mean only to this breakfast right here at the Omnia Hotel, which, by the way, is an amazing space, as you see. It's a perfect example as well, this Omni, of what private and public sectors can do when they partner in innovative ways. I think about Mayor Giuliano, who I was with during the grand opening of the Omni, who told me, Corey, I've been waiting for this hotel for 30 years, and it's finally here. So this is a huge win for the city of Tempe. And so once again, Mayor Giuliano, thank you so much for being here this morning. As I said, when I talked about welcome earlier, I meant not just simply welcome to the Omni or to this breakfast, but welcome to our city. You, and I mean every one of you, is truly welcome here in Tempe. From adding renter protections into our anti-discrimination ordinance, to renaming parks to honor our Black and Hispanic pioneers, we celebrate the diversity, accomplishments, and character of all of our community members. That welcoming spirit represents the essence of our community. It is what makes Tempe special. It's why I can say with complete confidence that the state of our city is strong indeed. I moved to Tempe from Michigan back in 2003. I came for graduate school to get my master's degree from ASU in educational policy, and I fell in love with this city. And here I also realized another passion, one my parents drilled into me every night at dinner throughout my childhood, which is to be of service. That priority, to be of use, to help our community meet challenges, to make life better for our residents, business owners, workforce, and visitors, motivated me to run for the city council, to serve 8 years, and then to run for mayor. The need to be of use motivates me every morning when I wake up. It's what makes the long days worth it. It's what makes being your mayor a job so very worth doing. During the last year, our city has thrived in very important ways. And that's not just my opinion. Each year, we survey our residents and the business community to gauge how we're doing and what matters most. The bottom line, Tempe ranks among the nation's best cities when it comes to meeting residents' expectations. In 2023, more than 8 out of 10 Tempeans told us they're satisfied with city services. That's 32% higher than the national average. In fact, it's among the top 10% of all surveyed cities here in America. We rank 20% higher than the national average for how our residents perceive bang for their buck when it comes to their tax dollars. We also rank 20 percentage points higher for the image of our city. The survey assessed 117 areas both this year and last. In 2023, we improved in 89 of those areas. As business leaders, you also know firsthand that success demands the steadfast commitment and collaborative spirit of a team. So please join me in a round of applause for our Tempe team, for our city manager, Rosa Nchowski, and for each of the more than 1,600 workers who make this city run so well. So I could take all morning to list the accomplishments our team has had in 2023, but I promise I won't. We've done everything from unanimously voting to make Indigenous Peoples Day a paid city holiday, to hosting one of the best spring training baseball seasons in Cactus League history. Nearly 110,000 fans watched baseball at Tempe Diablo Stadium this year, the best attendance in more than a decade. That equates to far more than tourists spending a sunny afternoon at the ballpark. Spring training is valued at more than $700 million to the state of Arizona. In our 2023 community survey, Tempe residents ranked improving the lives of people who are unhoused as their top concern. You challenged us to do better. Challenge accepted. The most recent census of the city's homeless population shows that we've reduced homelessness in Tempe by over 30%. We are laser focused on moving people from the streets, from our parks, and away from the river bottom into immediate housing. We've increased the amount of housing for those in need and expanded necessities like mental health services as well as job training. Our new 24/7 Care and Hope crisis number is averaging over 100 calls per week. Since last year, our Hope team has made more than 16,000 contacts. So far, this unique outreach model has helped more than 1,200 people get off the streets. Those are real results, and that equates to human lives made better. It speaks to the enormous heart of our city. Tempe's heart was one of the things that impressed my mother when she came to visit during my grad school years. My mom was a teacher. She told me growing up, you can judge any community by two simple metrics: their schools and their parks. I'm happy to report in Tempe that we excel at both, and we've gotten even better in 2023. Last month, we launched our Tempe Park Rangers program after the City Council approved $2.2 million to staff our parks 7 days a week, 20 hours a day. We hired 17 rangers to keep our recreation areas safe and to make sure we deliver inclusive, welcoming spaces for everyone. We've also expanded the resources we commit to our schools. We doubled funding for Arts in Schools grants, and we partnered with the Tempe Chamber to grow our Career Ready Tempe program, helping more than 30 students get paid summer internships with local businesses. We're offering the program again this year. And FYI, you can get free help for your business this summer and mentor a future member of our workforce. In June, the City Council also approved $1.5 million in permanent funding for Tempe Pre. Our high-quality kindergarten readiness program started as a pilot back in 2017. This year, we've enrolled more than 150 3- and 4-year-olds citywide on 8 campuses across the Tempe Elementary School District. In many cities, local governments believe that schools are the school district's problem. That is not the Tempe way. Here, the willingness of our community to help others, our collective heart, continues to gain strength. In the same way as working out builds the body, caring and doing builds the heart. Our city also continues to defy conventional wisdom. So for the 20-plus years I've lived here, people say that Tempe is landlocked. There's no room left to grow. There's no space left to develop. I, as your mayor, respectfully disagree. We've had to be more creative when it comes to growth, but make no mistake that this city continues to evolve. We're growing up, not out, and we're redeveloping aging assets in ways that honor our civic past while making the old new again. In 2023, we approved more than 3,500 housing units. As we sit here, Tempe has more than 13,500 housing units at various stages of the community development process. Because of our city's deep commitment to affordable housing, we received more than $10 million from Maricopa County just this Wednesday to bolster those efforts. Our Hometown for All initiative continues to pay dividends. We're moving ahead to transform the old Food City site along Apache Boulevard and Dorsey into the Apache Central Center. This mixed-use development will include 400 units of housing at multiple price points, a new grocery option, and the interactive public spaces residents have told us they want. For over 3 decades, Tempe leaders have sought to do something with the iconic Hayden Flour Mill. We are going to make this happen. In collaboration with Sunbelt Holdings and Venue Projects, we're moving ahead on an adaptive reuse project that will be worthy of the site that founded this city. It's an ambitious plan: 6 new buildings, the restoration of the mill, new retail and restaurants, park improvements to the A Mountain Trail, and for the city, 3% of the net revenue from the development. We're also thinking creatively when it comes to Denell Plaza, another Tempe cultural icon located at the southwest corner of Mill and Southern. Since it opened over 60 years ago, few sites in Tempe have meant as much to the live music scene or to our small businesses. We're working to rejuvenate this plaza with workforce and affordable housing, shops and restaurants, and we can do all of this while still keeping what people love most about Denell Plaza, the Yucca Tap Room. Local art, live music, and that welcoming neighborhood feel. Making the old new while paying tribute to the past has also been at the heart of our downtown Tempe refresh. It's the first makeover for Mill Avenue in more than 40 years. This $22 million effort will help us create a downtown for everyone in our city. Students, workers, seniors who want to live near the electricity of Mill, and families who come downtown to grab dessert at Sparky's Creamery. Already the Mill Avenue Bridge shines with new energy-efficient lighting. New murals and streetscapes have been completed, and new festoon lighting will soon be installed. Construction along 5th Street from Farmer to College will begin in the next few months, and specifically this February. In 2024, you're going to see momentum build further as we begin comprehensive street improvements along Mill at Rio Salado Parkway and University Drive. Everything from improved bike paths and ADA upgrades to new landscaping and new lighting. These are generational undertakings for our city, very heavy lifts. But they're possible because our community has always understood and stood committed to making the city better, not merely tinkering around the edges, but in profound ways. So let me also, at this point, be very candid with each and every one of you. Look around the state, the country, the world. As Colin talked about, I celebrated my 45th birthday yesterday, and never in my lifetime have I witnessed such partisan dislike, so much anger and vitriol. Now, we're not totally immune to this in Tempe, but I truly believe we're better than that. When we disagree, we have to do so with civility. We argue, but we also make up. We express ourselves, sometimes at top volume, with passion that bubbles over. But at the end of the day, there is still something we share, an entity that we value more than ourselves, our community, our city. So President Bill Clinton has a quote that I quote pretty much often. The best thing to have in politics is a short memory. So it's no secret that I voted for the proposed Tempe Entertainment District. We negotiated a deal that I genuinely believed would be a win for our community. But Tempe voters, our ultimate bosses, disagreed. Now, while I personally had hoped for a different outcome, I have and always will accept the will of our voters. As mayor, I'm very much aware that every elected leader has only a short time to be of use and to serve. I headed back to work the next morning motivated, determined, and ready to fight for that next idea that could better our city for decades to come. That is the Tempe way. We have a history of taking smart chances, like building a lake in the middle of a dry riverbed. It's how I view the role of mayor. You go into every corner of the city, you gather ideas from everyone you meet, you ask questions, you consider, and you weigh. Then, together with our city council and our team, you do everything in your power to build the best version of Tempe that's humanly possible. 2024 promises to be another milestone year full of opportunities for our city. In February, we're going to debut our real-time operations center, which leans into our commitment to use data and intelligence to improve your quality of life. This initiative will balance a healthy respect for privacy with the ability to integrate GPS data, video feeds, 911 calls, and radio traffic from across the city. This leading-edge approach will improve our response to emergencies and improve public safety for our first responders and our residents. On March 12th, voters will have their say on General Plan 2050. That vote represents the culmination of 2 years of preparation, public input, focus groups, and council meetings. This update of the general plan crystallizes our vision for our future. It embraces the high quality of life we demand and emphasizes growing sustainably, respecting diversity and equity, and ensuring our city's financial stability for the next generation. It took a great amount of work for this plan to come together. My office and our city staff spent hundreds of hours working with residents and businesses. Together, we found compromises and connections to build a plan that I feel we as Tempeans can all get behind. In November, on a landmark election day for the nation, you'll also find a bond measure on your city ballot. It will include over $180 million in resources to remediate every single street in the city of Tempe over the next 4 years. Now, unlike me, that's a tall order. Sometimes you have to make the joke before people actually make it at you. Tempe's street network has more than 1,300 lane miles and more than 530 center lane miles. Repaving a 4-lane road costs more than $1 million per mile. But we're going to get this done. And just this past Tuesday, our City Council directed our staff to begin exploring additional bond questions, to dedicate more funding, to create affordable housing, and also to continue preserving our historic sites. Finally, we're also going to have to tackle what I believe is the biggest crisis in our path today: the state's repeal of the tax levied on rental housing. That single measure will cost the city of Tempe more than $20 million each year, starting in 2025. Our department heads have been meeting already to find efficiencies and cost savings, new ways to make every tax dollar just go a little bit further, to create a budget that balances the expectations of residents and business owners with the reality of diminished revenue. But it's our goal to do this without sacrificing our high-quality city services or members of our city team. I really want to thank each and every one of you again for the honor of the past 3.5 years and for the opportunity to tell you this morning about the Tempe story. For over a quarter century, mayors have come to this event and they speak about the year past and, of course, about the year ahead. For all of our political differences, I know that we agree on one essential point. Tempe is a truly special city. We are more than 190,000 people spread across 5 zip codes and 40 square miles. We are thousands of businesses, artists, shopkeepers, musicians, university professors, police officers, park rangers, firefighters, and street workers. We are activists, leaders, volunteers, neighbors, and friends. We have built a strong city, and we're going to make it even stronger. We will, all of us, continue to be of service and continue to be of use. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and thank you for your support in the days ahead. We have big things ahead of us. All that remains is the doing, and personally, I cannot wait to get started. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the words. It was well worth the wait. A couple of questions. So you've arrived in 2003, and as I look around the room and I see former Mayor Giuliano, what would you say since 2003 has changed the most, and what are you most proud of during your tenure either on council and as mayor?
Well, 20 years ago, I actually had hair. And I think having the job over the last 3 years has taken away the last bit of hair that I had and made the rest of it that comes up very gray. No, I think what's changed is that the city's continued to grow, it's continued to move forward and continue to innovate. And I have really seen, especially in the downtown area, there's a lot more vertical building in the way of condos and apartments, hotels, office buildings. I've seen the downtown become rapidly very urbanized. And I think that's a very exciting thing for the city of Tempe. I co-chaired a housing supply accelerator for the National League of Cities, which is a group that kind of has all of the mayors and city council members from across the country that go to a couple of meetings a year to share best practices and policy initiatives. And we really are in a housing supply crisis. We're in an affordability crisis in this country as well. And so we estimate that about in the next 10 years, you're going to see over 70,000 additional residents here in the city of Tempe. We do not have enough housing to house all of those people in present day. So I think it's a very important moment that we have to meet to really ensure that we are adding more units in the downtown and around the city. That we are not just simply resting on our laurels and saying, well, here in Tempe, we're good enough. Who wants that to be their slogan? You have to find ways to continue to move forward. And as I talked about in the speech, I think there are ways that you can preserve your historic sites, you can honor the things that brought you to this point, but you have to continue to move forward. If you actually think that you can just simply stand still and things will continue to get better, they won't. Other people and other communities will just continue to pass you. And so I think that 20 years later, what I see now is a city that's urbanizing a lot more. There are a lot of different elements. I see a much more spread out tax base, which I think is really positive for our city's prosperity and for our future moving forward. But I also see a community of residents that are really prepared to continue to meet those challenges. I see residents every day in all 5 zip codes. I meet business owners each and every day who I find are very excited about the city's future and very happy to see what comes next. As we talked about in that survey, 117 areas that we've surveyed in a community survey that we've worked with the same group with for over 26 years, so you at least know it's statistically significant. Right. And as I talked about, 89 of those areas, we actually showed noticeable, statistically significant improvements in the last year alone. So from my perspective, it's not just my attitude about feeling positive or our city council's perspective on feeling positive. It's our residents telling us in the form of very valid surveys and the people that I bump into just on the street each and every day and knocking on doors in neighborhoods who say, Tempe is a great place and we're going to continue to move forward. And I think everyone here is up to that challenge and I'm excited for it.
I can't agree with you more. I will dive a little bit deeper. I know housing is a topic that you are very passionate about. You just spoke at the National League of Cities. And when I talk to people about Tempe, one word that keeps coming to mind is innovative. So can you touch on, obviously there's a lot of parties that'll be part of this conversation, but some of the ideas you have for how we get to our housing goal, what are some of the strategies?
You know, the bond that we talked about on Tuesday, I think is going to be a very big step forward for the city as well. We, now we don't have a dollar amount assigned to it because it was the first time the council actually had this conversation in public. So I'm really excited for our folks and our team to go back and see exactly what could be possible with regards to adding a bond measure specifically to increase the supply of affordable housing and accelerate some of our current efforts. So I think that from my perspective really could be a real game changer for the city, coupling that with the existing Hometown for All program that started back in January of 2021. I mean, we've raised over $6 million in cash and pledges from the development community. We've actually remediated 5 city-owned sites to get those ready for affordable housing developers to produce high-quality, affordable, and workforce housing projects to make sure that we don't continue to lose teachers or people who are working in the service industry or our first responders. So I think that housing crisis, from my perspective, is the really one of the top, I would say, if not one, but one of the top two issues that we have to address as a community if we really want to ensure that we are the diverse, inclusive place that the city of Tempe is frankly known for. And I have no doubt that with our city council and with the staff that we have and the residents in this community, I have no doubt that we can actually meet that challenge. But you said one word, Colin, I want to kind of dovetail off of this for 2 quick seconds when you talked about being innovative, and that's what you hear when you hear about Tempe. My perspective is that is who we are as a community. That is who I am as a leader. And honestly, there are going to be things that I'm going to do sometimes that people are going to love. And there are going to be things that sometimes I'm going to propose that people are not going to like so much. But you don't pay me or you don't pay the other 6 members of the city council to go to ribbon cuttings and check presentations. We do that too, and we will if you want us to. I'm more than happy to. But at the end of the day, you don't pay us to just do ceremonial things and take pictures and put them on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it this week. You pay for us to do big transformational things that really are going to set this city up for success over the next 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. I always tell people that mayors and city council members are not just working on the present, but we're also in the future business. And so sometimes I'm going to try to do some things that people may not always like. But the fact of the matter is you elect people like me and the 6 members of our city council to be progressive, to be forward-thinking, and to be innovative. And we're going to keep trying to do things to really position this city for its best possible future. And I'm excited to do that work.
Well, I can tell you on behalf of the one of the things that I've appreciated in my 2 years here is the relationship, not just that we have, but the rest of the council and the accessibility. So attracting and retaining a qualified workforce is something that we've stayed up at night focusing on, and you touched on housing, which is a piece of that, if people can live closer to where they work. But the other part is what they're able to do while they're here. I know restaurants are near and dear to your heart. I believe also Councilmember Chin, you guys are self-proclaimed foodies. I've put that to the test and it's been pretty accurate. Can you talk to your goals with trying to attract restaurants and maybe some that are on the horizon?
I'd say Councilmember Chin, we put that to the test pretty much every week at some point. It's very important to us. Well, I think it's a few things. I mean, one, and you saw in the beginning of the video me working out. I tell people all the time, I don't work out because I really enjoy it. I work out so I can continue to eat everywhere I want to eat. So part of it is that it's a couple of things. Food is a representation of culture, from my perspective, and Councilmember Chin and I have had many conversations about this. When you look at the different cultures represented in the city of Tempe and across our great state, many times it's food that actually is a direct extension of those cultures. It's where people have the opportunity to sit down and break bread and have very important conversations about business or family. A lot of the most important conversations I've ever had have been sitting around food, or frankly, the dinner table at my parents' home when I was growing up. Those were where almost all of the formative conversations I had as a young person happened. But I also think that it's important too from a revenue generating standpoint and providing our residents with things that they actually want. I think about the downtown as an example. It used to be that sort of the heart of downtown was merely just sort of Arizona State University. Yep. And it's a wonderful university, most innovative university, 8 or 9 years in a row, the largest public university in the country. I have my graduate degree from ASU, so, go Devils. But at the same time, we obviously have a lot more in the way of market rate multifamily and affordable multifamily. Office buildings, we're the hotbed for Class A office in the entire region. A lot of hotels, like the Omni Hotel, where we're all sitting this morning. And so you have a lot of other people who are now either living here or vacationing here or coming to business meetings and conferences and conventions. And so with that comes the need to have more restaurants and more diversity in those restaurants to give people an opportunity to experience different food from different cultures at various different price points. And so I think it's not just simply an extension of our culture, but it's also part of our economic development future. And so that's why I'm such a huge restaurant guy, other than just simply liking to eat and liking to talk.
So I guess, are you ready to break any news on any that are coming that folks may not know about?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I've got to give a huge shout out to Sue Rigler here from 100 Mile Brewing, because she actually named the potato chips on her menu after me. So they are called Mayor Woods chips. So this is not a lie. I'm telling you, go to 100 Mile Brewing and you can check them out. They are the best potato chips in this entire town, hands down. But that being said, There are a number of really cool things happening. One of the biggest announcements we had from a restaurant standpoint was from a company called Pretty Decent Concepts, and the owner of that company, Teddy Myers, who's going to be doing not one, but 4 different concepts on Mill Avenue. The first 2 are going to be at the south end of Mill, in the old P.F. Chang space, which is at the northwest corner of Mill and University. It's 7,700 square feet. They're going to be doing a restaurant in one portion and a high-end cocktail bar in the adjacent portion where the old Great Clips hair salon used to be. But they're the same company that has Chico Malo and Ren and Wolf and the Trophy Room. A lot of you have seen they've got a new project coming up where they're creating a speakeasy to look like an old airplane, which I can't wait to check out myself. I think their entry into the market, first of all, I really appreciate them believing in Tempe and wanting to set down roots here in our community. But I think it really signaled to the market that Tempe really is changing. We are the same community that we've been for the last 50, 60, 70 years, or 150 years, as we recently just celebrated our sesquicentennial last year. And I only did that to prove to people that I could once again say sesquicentennial that quickly. But at the same time, it's showing that there's also a different group of people that are beginning to live in the community and do business in the community. And I think we do need a different kind of group of restaurants to ensure that we really have that kind of broad diversity. So I really appreciate Teddy and Pretty Decent Concepts' entry into the market, and I think there are quite a few groups and concepts that are going to follow.
Perfect. Well, we could talk all day. We do quite often, once a month at least, at various restaurants. But help me thank our mayor for joining us today. Thank you all for joining us today. I am going to put the mayor out on this because I know he's true to this. Both of us are very accessible. Maybe not this exact moment, but moving forward, at any time, come up to us with any comments, questions. I know on a business perspective, I'm honored to serve in this role and to be able to serve our great community. Have a happy holidays. We will have January 26th will be our next event. It's our economic outlook. You'll see more information on that, but we look forward to joining you then. And thank you all for joining us.